Hi everybody, my guest today is a very special lefty guitarist. His name is Patrick Heaney. He's 26 from Staffordshire and was born without a left arm from the elbow downwards. He has never let it stop him from doing anything, including playing the guitar. He's been running a YouTube channel for the last 3 months, which has gone completely viral, been reported on by various news outlets around the world. I got in touch with him because I thought he was a really inspiring guy and had a story to tell, and he has, and here it is. Hi, Patrick.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming on. I just, I started my intro by saying it's funny, the people that you come across on YouTube. I don't really watch a lot of YouTube. Having started this whole lefty guitar channel thing, obviously I've been watching a bit more and things come up in my feed. And then not so long ago, I saw you and I was just hugely inspired. And I saw, obviously, you were playing lefty and I thought, this is it. I dropped you an email. You got back to me. You said you'd be happy to chat. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing when these things work out like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to start with the guitars that you've got on the wall, because I'm looking from a distance, but I'm going to say that's obviously the Les Paul that I've seen in your videos. Yeah. There's a right-handed one there as well.
Yes, the Epiphone, the hollow body there, that's a right-handed. So that's a new guitar that I've acquired recently. It's the Epiphone Tom DeLonge signature ES333. So yeah, this one was an absolute favorite of mine as a kid growing up. I'm a big fan of Blink-182, and yeah, I just saw that saw that guitar in all of his videos, and I just always wanted that thing as a kid, really. But they discontinued it, I think, in like 2005, 2006, and recently, over the past sort of 5 or 6 years, I've been looking at it, thinking I'm going to get hold of one day. The Gibson version that they made has gone up to about sort of £6,000, £7,000 now, just because it's a bit of a rare guitar, even though I think it's sold at about £1,000, maybe 1,200. The Epiphone sold at about 350, and I was seeing them for like $1,000 to $2,000 online, which was a bit out of my budget, really. So yeah, I've just been looking for, years, just look on Google every now and then. And then, yeah, I was on about page 12 or 13, something way down the line, almost giving up. And then I saw it for 250 quid on, just a little shop website in Brighton. And I didn't actually believe it at first. I was like, there's no way in hell. And so I went on their website, emailed them and everything, and was like, is this actually legit and stuff? The guy got back to me and was like, yeah. So I bought it that day straight away for 250. And yeah, so that was about a month, maybe 2 ago. And yeah, the plan is to get it converted lefty by someone who knows what they're doing, because I definitely do not.
Because let me guess, they never launched it as a lefty model, did they? They
did not, as far as I know. No, I've seen one lefty version for sale, which I think it said it was a luthier converted version, but that was going for about £2,000. Again, same old story, can't afford that.
Yeah.
It's a rare guitar, but in terms of its makeup, it's not. There's no bells and whistles to it. It's just got a single bridge pickup, a Seymour Duncan Dirty Fingers, and one volume knob, and that's it. That's everything inside it. So really simple. Tom DeLonge, plays one style of music really. Back when that guitar came out, and he knew what he wanted. So why put anything extra on it really? But it's a great wall piece, and I think it looks fantastic. And yeah, the day that thing arrived, I was running circles around.
It's what, that feeling never gets old, does it? Getting new guitars. Oh my god, you get the box. You get the box, like sort of slightly triangular box, and you're opening it up. Oh man, yeah, it always makes you feel like it's your first guitar again, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, well yeah. the feeling I'm going to have when I can actually play it as well.
Wow, this is it.
So it's been sat there on my wall for 2 months now. Just saying, come on, give it a go.
Yeah. And so you're going to have it converted to lefty, which that'll be fine because of the symmetrical nature, and yeah. I'd love to. Do you know what? I'd love you to send me some pictures when that's done.
Yeah, I definitely will do, and I'll definitely. I think the day it's done, I'll probably get a Blink cover, put up on my channel, and
absolutely. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I can't wait to see you play that on your YouTube stuff. Do you know what? We're going to leave the Les Paul. I want to talk about the Les Paul a bit later and other guitars like that. For the time being, though, I want to go. Often start these things with people when they come on. We go all the way back, so I want to talk about you. You've got a significant and important story to tell, I feel, with your guitar playing, but we probably have to start a little while before that.
So as you said, I was born missing my left arm just below the elbow, so you can see it here, just in case no one knew before. As far as I know, there wasn't any real reason why. It's just a birth defect, really. Tell a lot of people I was just lazy enough. I thought, one will do, and I can, chill for the rest of my development or something. But, so, I mean, as a kid, I was always busy. And I don't know how my parents put up with it, to be honest. I was, I was an absolute handful, really. But at the same time, I never really seemed to let it get in my way too much. There's tons of stories from my dad, telling me about, they got me to do this, they got me to do that. They weren't really sure whether I'd be able to do it, but they wanted to kind of encourage me rather than protect me and think, oh, we might not be able to do that. Same with my older brother as well, treating me very normally. And they were always quite shocked when I could, do something and pick it up quite so quickly. That was always their words, like, didn't think you'd be able to do that very well. And then, you've just gone and picked it up as if it's, no deal. One I remember, I got a PlayStation 1 when I was about 5, I think, for Christmas. Yeah, I wanted one of these things for years. And my mum had always been a bit skeptical on whether I'd really be able to use it. And, they come downstairs, Boxing Day morning. I've probably been up at 6 a.m. just all over the controllers, playing with my brother, and seem to have no problem with it, really. So, it's one of those things. It's definitely had its ups and downs. It's difficult, but there's not really much I can do about it. So I've always kind of tried to be in the camp of, you've got what you've got. Some people wear glasses and they can't see that well, and they don't really, they don't really let it get to them too bad. And people have it worse than me. People have it better, but I've got what I've got, so I've got to deal with that, really. So that's basically how I've been with it. My life just doesn't let it get to me too much.
So you carried this attitude which is an absolutely brilliant attitude to have, and like you say, probably partly thanks to your family for not treating you any different and stuff like that. You carried that with you, and then you thought, I want to play guitar. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I am really thankful for my family for, just not treating me any differently. But so guitar was one thing I'd always wanted to do. And my dad was a big classic rock guy. He's seen everyone that I always wanted to see. So I grew up with The Clash, AC/DC, Zeppelin, anyone of that kind of caliber being blasted out in the house. In my dad's workshop in his garage, he got 2 massive speakers. And
I already like your dad a lot.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend when it comes to stuff like that. So, there's always guitar music blasting out in that house. So, there was no way in hell I was ever not going to grow up loving this music, really. So, I just always wanted to play. I thought playing the guitar was so cool. Every band I listened to was, a rock band. It was a classic rock band. So, I really wanted to do it, and I think that was maybe one of the first things that maybe my dad was thinking, God, how the hell are we going to get around this one? But I had a prosthetic anyway, so when you're born with a disability like mine, like missing a limb, you do get sort of free care with the NHS, as much or as little as you want, really, with them providing sort of prosthetics for you. And I did have one of these electric hands that kind of open and close like this. Which my parents encouraged me to wear as much as I wanted to, because they were like, wear it, because then when you get a bit older, then you can decide whether you want to have that as norm or not. But we're not going to force you to wear it all the time, but we want you to wear it some of the time. The thing is with these things, though, they were big and they had a big battery in them, and they had this, really weird kind of shaped hand that kind of just would go like this.
Okay.
So trying to throw a pick in there wouldn't really work. So we got in touch with my doctor. I just had one doctor, the same way people used to have just one GP, really. I had just one doctor in Selly Oak in Birmingham. There's a hospital there that I used to go to. And we kind of chatted to him about what we kind of wanted to do. And they made prosthetics that would be without a hand, basically. So it was basically just acting as down to a forearm, so just cut off at the wrist and there's nothing there. So it's made of plastic, molded to your arm. And we got in touch with a company in America, and unfortunately, I can't remember the name at all of them, but they made sort of prosthetic attachments for people with disabilities for kind of everything you could think of. They had like golf clubs and things for like driving with, and everything under the sun.
Okay.
And they had one which was a guitar one. I can show you it here actually because we've got it to hand. I'll just show you it on its own. And they sent this over from America. My auntie lives over there, my great auntie. So she bought it for us and sent it over and stuff. But to hold this up to the camera, this is it up close.
Okay.
So basically, it's just a universal ball joint. And it's got a thing that just holds a pick on the end, really. It's really a bit of simple engineering. And then it's got a little, thing for the ball joint on the top here so you can put it to any angle.
Is that so you can hold it in place as well with that on the back, like the tension of it?
Yeah, so this bit you can, so if I undo that, there it can move. So as you can see, it just, so it's a universal ball joint that just moves it to anywhere. So that just means you can put it at any angle. And then this thread on the back here goes into my current prosthetic, which is the carbon fiber one that everyone has seen. But as you can see there, it's just a screw. And that's it really. So it's really simple. And yeah, that prosthetic, just a short one to kind of mimic the length of a forearm.
So the bit that holds the pick that you got from America, is that the same one that you've had all these years? Yeah, I got it. I think I was 7 or 8, and it's lasted all that time. Incredible.
The thing is it's just metal. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's so simple, and I think that's why it lasted. There's no bells and whistles. Like the pick itself, as you can see there, it's just held in with 2 Allen keys. Well, 1 Allen key at the moment. I have threaded one of the bits, so I need to re-thread it. But yeah, you literally just slot the pick in, put the Allen key in. So when people say, "Oh, you never drop your pick and stuff," I don't, which is great. But I do play them until they sort of snap, really. But as you can kind of see, it's quite bent, the pick now.
Sure. What gauge pick do you use, by the way?
I use, this one is a 0.5 mil. Okay. So really, really thin. When you actually hear me when I'm putting my videos together, I have like my direct audio and obviously my camera audio. You can't really hear much guitar in the camera audio. You can just hear this clack, 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 clack.
Clicking noise from the pick on the strings.
The pick is so thin, it just goes like that up and down the string. It sounds awful, really. So I experimented with loads of different gauge picks over the years, and this 0.5 one was just the easiest for me because I can't do your sort of up and down movement as you strum up and down. I have to kind of leave the pick static, really. So by having that thin pick, it kind of floats along and up the strings like that, rather than the thicker ones just go clonk, clonk, clonk. Sure. Which makes it's good for doing sort of single note pieces. Yeah. But when you're doing any chords or anything like that, it's not too nice, really. So. But yeah, I've got off on a bit of a tangent there, I guess. But
no, that's this. What was the company? What was the company in America that manufactured that, and how did you come across them?
Sure, you know what? For the life of me, I can't remember. But I will, if you want, I can Google it and I can find it out at the end.
Well, they were obviously a specialist, like you say, that provided all sorts. But what an amazing find! Because I'm just wondering if you wouldn't have come across them. Would there have been? I mean, I'm sure, but this day and age, I just wonder if you would have had to wait longer if you wouldn't have found them, before you could actually start playing guitar. Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's really one of those that
when you talk about a butterfly flapping its wings and all that, changing everything, it's one of those that I think if I hadn't been able to get that, then would my motivation to be able to play have kind of, dipped down into a bit of a pipe dream of, maybe I've just got to settle with, I've got one hand, I'm not going to be able to play the guitar. So it's definitely a real possibility, I think, sometimes. So yeah, I mean, I'm again, it was my dad that found them, and I think, we put a lot of effort into, getting hold of them, and, we found them online, and that was back in, I don't know, early 2000s. So, the internet's not what it is now.
Sure.
So sort of being able to get hold of it and stuff. I think there was some help from my doctors as well. I think there was quite a few people involved really with me being able to play, and it's, I'm so thankful to everyone that has allowed it,
and brilliant that there was a support network there as well, I mean, yeah. Were you self-taught, or did you have lessons?
No, I had lessons for when I was a kid, for a good few years actually. So there were a couple of kids in my year in primary school that had a guitar teacher, and so we just got in touch with him because he was well recommended. And he was absolutely brilliant. I was his first student that had ever had any sort of disability or anything like that. And I definitely feel like he could have just walked away and been like, no. But he helped me out tons, and he was so patient with everything, and really helped me developing techniques and how to play right-handed. As you see in my videos, I always play with a hair scrunchie on the end of the fretboard. Yeah. So anything that I play that doesn't need open notes in, I just bang the hair scrunchie over the open notes, because it just helps to mute things a bit better.
Well, and that's the thing, because you've not got the use of essentially the palm, which, and it's second nature to a lot of players to essentially be using their palm to deaden off the strings they're not using. Exactly. So you don't have that benefit, therefore that's what you use, and that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, and it was his idea that he was like, use this because it's gonna help with these notes and stuff, and it comes in so handy, when you bend it, like if you're doing sort of 1.5, 2 note bends, it's very easy to twang something, even if you're doing the best that you can to control with your fretting hand as well. It's very easy to sort of get caught under the strings or so just having that there is kind of just that extra defense against, when you've done a really nice set and then you just hear that really sort of off-key, like, oh, that's just ruined the entire take.
Yeah.
And he really helped me as well with sort of, I always knew finger picking would never be a big strength of mine. But he sort of helped me with using my pinky or any free fretting finger that I have at any time to pluck a note. Which I haven't really put any videos of me doing up yet, which I do intend to get there. But sort of like these ones, nothing too crazy, but just, if you're doing a sort of single, like an arpeggiated chord, and, you play the root note and like something else at the same time. Yeah. When you don't do that, it sounds a bit flat.
Sure.
But I can't really do that with my fretting hand. So a lot of times it's kind of working out which finger's going to be free to kind of reach over to that free string and just give it a pluck. Yeah. And a lot of the time it's sort of an open string that you go with it. So you'll do an open string and a second fret or a third fret and an open string down here. So usually those open ones, I'll try and play the fretted note with my arm, and then I'll try and pluck the open string with maybe my pinky if it's free. Yeah. And he kind of really helped me kind of develop that. And the first time we ever learned that was the intro to Under the Bridge by the Chili's.
Yeah.
It's that perfect kind of example of, it's just, the start of every bar, there's 2 plucked notes.
That's right.
But then everything else is just singled. So it's quite an easy one to, to kind of learn that with, as opposed to something like, Stairway, where there's a lot of them in the opening. And that one's a really difficult one. And with that, I ended up just sort of having to pick and choose what's kind of realistic for me to fit in, and before it just drives me insane, basically.
So who was your who were and who are your playing inspirations? Who are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, so we've got like, all the obvious ones, Slash, Jimmy especially, being a lefty, and that great story of him, not being able to play, not being able to find a lefty, so he just flipped upside down. Yeah. So yeah, and then Slash has always been just one of those people I just watch playing and just think, oh God, come on, like, well, will I ever get that good? And
same. I'm still thinking that. You know, I've always been the same. I always watch him. You know, when I first started watching when I was 11 or 12, and I still watch him now, and I think, God, he's just, you know, love him. You know?
It's just absolutely nuts, isn't it? And I went through a lot of I mean, I think it's impossible for me to say who is my one guitar hero, really, because I sort of have so many people that I've looked up to, and my music taste has never changed, but it's always been, you know, it was always about classic rock as a kid, and like listening to, like, you know, Jimmy Page, and I listened to a lot of the Clash, so listening to Joe Strummer and Mick Jones, really big inspirations for me. And then sort of as I got, and obviously like Angus and stuff, and Malcolm. And as I got a little bit older, I then sort of discovered sort of like pop punk, you know, when I was sort of like, I don't know, 7 or something. I think a good friend of mine that I went to school with when I was like 7, he had All Killer No Filler by Sum 41.
It's a great album.
Amazing album. And, you know, I still have it on repeat to these days.
And it literally is all killer, no filler.
Yeah. It's a perfectly known album, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so, you know, Derek Whibley and Dave Batch from, you know, the early days of Sum 41, I just, you know, I had it on CD, and I just used to blast that all the time. And then Does This Look Infected came out, you know, their second studio album. That was one of the first albums I ever bought as a CD, you know, with my own money. And
that opening riff on that album, what was that song? The something song, and it's got that riff.
The Hell song.
Yes. Oh my God, that's such a killer riff to start with. Yeah. I love that.
It's amazing. And that was why I actually did the solo of that one a couple of weeks ago. Put it on my channel. And I mean, that to this day is still one of my favorite solos. And I always remembered thinking when I was I'm never going to be able to play this. No way in hell will I ever one day be able to play this. And to actually be able to, you know, upload it onto my channel and everything, it's been awesome. And then, sort of as I got a bit older, I really got into Kings of Leon. I really like, you know, we found out about them actually before their first album came out. You know, one of these, I saw them first, you know, I was there back in the day. My uncle, who worked with sort of like TV and everything like that, with film cameras and stuff, I think he'd seen them somewhere, you know, doing a small gig and stuff. And he'd messaged my dad being like, get this album, it's awesome, these guys are great. So we got the Youth and Young Manhood album, which, you know, it's this really cool, like, rockabilly country rock.
Yes.
Like, an amazing album. And that, that one, again, another just on repeat album for me, really. So my music taste is pretty much all about guitars, but it's kind of, you know, changed throughout my life of, you know, who's my current sort of favorite guitar player, and is it because they absolutely shred like you know, Angus and Malcolm, or is it because, you know, like the Follow Wills and Kings of Leon, they're just making like, none of it's a really shredding music, but it's just such good guitar music, and there's some amazing tones in it. And probably my most recent sort of, and a Lefty as well, is Ben Howard, if you know him as well. Very much, he's a, you know, singer-songwriter really, as opposed to, you know, a rock musician. But when his first album came out, then probably 2010, something like that.
Okay.
He's like, you know, all acoustic, and he was, you know, he's like a surfer. But everything he wrote is just nuts, because he's one of these guys that basically maybe has one song in standard tuning. Everything else is in these really odd tunings. It's like Old Piner song he does, which is one of my favorites. The tuning, I think it's like CGC, CGG or something like that. Like, wow. Yeah, it's like a really odd tuning.
I should go with that. That's like my initials in a tuning. CG, CG. See what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's just. I remember like the first time I tried learning to play it and seeing that on the Ultimate Guitar tab, I was like, what? You know, like get my acoustic out and just go. And I just had this rubbish like phone tuner at the time, so it only did like standard and drop D or E flat, and I'm like trying to tune, you know, my low string to like a C coming up, and oh man, it's 20 minutes to tune the guitar. But he's amazing, and if you ever watch some of the stuff he does on YouTube and his live performances as well, and you see what he's about, he's one of these guys that, you know, puts a capo on only half of his guitar, and he's playing up here and then he's playing below the capo, and I don't know, everything I watch him do is really inspirational, and it's different, and it's just cool. And he's a lefty, which, you know, just again makes it
great.
A little bit more special when you actually see someone who you really appreciate and you go, oh, oh, he's a lefty.
Exactly. Honestly, it really is, because you just feel like you're in that club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they still have the same problems trying to find guitars as we do. You know, it's one of those. So,
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you have you ever done any band stuff? You ever jammed with many people? You've done much of that?
Yeah, like I've got some friends that we do jam along with. I've never really been in a band where I've never performed live or anything like that. I think my biggest performance I've ever done was I took music GCSE, and we had to do a group project and a solo project there. So that's probably my biggest audience I've ever really had.
Okay.
But a few friends of mine back in school, we played in my dad's garage because I had a drum kit as well, and I played the drums. And we would just get together, at my dad's house in the garage. And I had a mate who's an incredible bassist, and I had a couple of mates that play guitar, one that does a bit of singing and stuff. So we would just kind of mess about, after sixth form and stuff. It never really went anywhere, and then kind of we all went our separate ways after sort of sixth form. People went to uni. I ended up traveling and working abroad and stuff like that. And then actually in the lockdown, funnily enough, is when we've all kind of gotten chatting again about learning music. The one who just did a bit of singing, he got a guitar over lockdown. He's been learning to play. The one that did play a bit of guitar, he just played acoustic. He bought his first electric, and now he manages a pub. So he's got nothing to do. Yeah. So he's just on his guitar constantly at the moment. So, and in the little lull that we did have, where people could meet up and stuff, we're like talking about we need to meet up and do it. Nothing really came to pass with that, unfortunately, just because of timings and everything. But then we've decided, we're gonna get this done, and we've got time. We know we have time even when things go back. So we're gonna try and form a little group together again. Right. Not really for any purpose other than it's just good to jam with your mates and drink a few beers, play a few songs. So
absolutely. So yeah, you left, you went traveling, you worked in the ski industry.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I left after leaving sixth form. I went to Canada there and sort of took my exams and stuff to learn to become a snowboarding instructor. I've been snowboarding since I was a kid. We've got like a dry slope near us and an indoor slope.
Okay.
So and I skateboarded as well. As I said at the start of the interview, I was a very bouncy kid.
Right.
Getting on a skateboard was always one of those things I wanted to do as well. So and that just led into snowboarding really naturally. And I ended up going and sort of took the exams to become a snowboard instructor, and then I ended up working sort of between Canada and New Zealand as well in Queenstown as a snowboard instructor there. And then I also got a job in Queenstown building the sort of terrain parks they do. So, the big jumps and everything and rails, sure. Stuff like that. So it was our job sort of like building the parks, maintaining them, stuff like that. So it was a really fun time.
Wow.
Interesting job, like dangerous, and the pay is not amazing, but you don't care about money when you're out there. As long as you've got enough to pay the rent, that's all that matters really. So, and then now, as I said, I work for the National Trust now, just in a retail role. It's really enjoyable, and I'm also at uni as a mature student in Telford. So great. It's I've got a lot going on. I'm studying sort of wildlife conservation and environmental management. Since I worked so long in the ski industry, I just, I love being outdoors really. And so I decided, I'll go to uni finally after all this sort of bumming around on a snowboard. Yeah. And so that's kind of the direction it's all sort of going at the moment.
So let's talk about the YouTube channel. When did you start? Because it wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, it was. I think it was November. It started, so really, really not that long.
Oh wow!
Before.
So really recently.
Yeah, my first video I put up was my Bohemian Rhapsody solo.
Okay.
In November, I filmed it with like my laptop camera, so it's really bad quality and stuff. But I just I've been playing a lot again, sort of over lockdown, and I felt like I was getting good, and I just thought it'd be a good laugh, just trying to record it and put it up and think, so I never really thought anything would come of it. But so I started doing it. I started playing around, and I was like, this is, it's good fun and it's a good laugh. And I was sharing it with, the mates I was telling you about, that we jam together. We have just a little group chat where we send each other what we're kind of playing and kind of what we're working on at the moment. And I was like, yeah, I'll do something with video. I'll just throw it up on YouTube and I'll share it to Reddit as well because I'm on that sometimes. And yeah, it was really weird. It was like within like a day or two, like this first video I got like 5,000 views. I was like, wow, that's absolutely nuts. I wasn't, and people were like, oh, holy shit, man, that's cool. Like, well done. Like, some really nice comments coming in and stuff about it. And, the people who were just saying, oh, you've got to play more, post more videos. Come on, we want to see more. So I was like, oh, all right. There's nothing else for me to do at the moment. So, and it's been great because it's really been pushing me to learn new stuff on guitar and, keep a bit more of a practice schedule and stuff.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because, here's you just thinking, I want to get my chops up a bit, stick a video on YouTube, and it just goes like through the roof. Like I saw, after I found out about you, I was looking you up and I saw there was American news networks that were reporting about all of your videos. It did, in every essence of the word, go viral, all of your stuff, right? Especially those early videos, because of what you were doing, the way you were doing it, and getting past any challenges and not caring. And it sounds great. And, just before we recorded this tonight, I'm watching you do the Hotel California solo, both bits, and you got the split screen going on.
Yeah, it was a complete surprise to me, actually. Like, the first one that kind of blew up, this one on the Bohemian Rhapsody got 5,000 views, and I was like, oh, that's nuts. But it kind of spiked and went down again sort of straight away. And then it was when I think it was Knocking on Heaven's Door. I did the 2 solos to that one.
Yeah.
And that one suddenly got like, and that was like sort of maybe 3-4 videos later. I think I've done like some Oasis and some Boston maybe as well. And then, I put this what am I saying? Knocking on Heaven's Door, that's it. I put those ones up, and then suddenly that one got like 20,000 views and then like 30,000 and stuff. And again, I was like, man, where is this coming from? And I was like clicking on YouTube. I don't know if you know yourself, if you've seen it, like you can view where sort of if traffic's coming from.
Yeah.
And sort of, like, analytics of, and it was like, oh, most of it's coming from an external source. And I was like, oh, where's this coming from? And there was like 3 different websites. One of them was like Guitar World, and like another one was like a different sort of guitar magazine. I think there were ones that were all under the same banner because I kind of clicked on them. And no one had really approached me, actually. No one had said anything. They just kind of shared it. They just, I had no idea. So this is why I was really confused about where all this viewing was coming from. But, people are just put on this thing. It's like, oh, this guy's played things and he's played it well, and, go check him out and stuff. And again, I had loads of nice comments on it. And I guess people had just not seen it before. And so it was nuts, really, but it really took me by surprise. I just
I just think you've got the most incredible story to be told. But here's my question to you: in all of your videos, or the ones I've seen, you don't show your face.
Yeah, I don't really. It's not really for anything bad. I don't have a problem with my face. It's just to be honest, it's mainly because I film it on a kind of wide angle lens that I've got on my camera. And if I have my whole body in, it's always, I haven't really figured out a decent recording sort of setup yet, where if I have my whole body in, you can still see my playing arm well enough. And I feel like people kind of want to view that, as you said, there's a lot of people on YouTube sort of playing the guitar, and I feel like I don't want to be this guy that's kind of like using it to just show off my face or like, here's me. I want it to be about like, obviously it's not all about that, but I think I'm definitely not the, I'm no Jimi Hendrix, I'm no Jimmy Page. So people aren't saying this is the most shredding guitar I've ever seen, but I think it's my niche that people want to kind of see. And by having it a little kind of closer up there, just mainly focusing on that. That's it. And now I'm revealing myself for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Here he is. This is the thing that baffles me, is that it's a weird one, isn't it? Because Guitar World and whatever, they just sort of pick up on these stories and run with them, just using like your own videos. But has anyone else sort of been in touch like this and wanted to have a bit of a chat? Or
I've had a couple of emails, from people that have just been like, oh, hey, I just want to send you a message just saying like, oh, it's really cool, like keep doing what you're doing and stuff. Like it's quite inspirational. I had one guy sort of commented on some videos saying, you know, oh, my brother lost his arm in an accident and stuff, and since then he's been like pretty low down, and I've been showing my videos to him and stuff. And I think it's someone who'd lost an arm like a long time ago, but he was saying, you know, he'd been a bit down on stuff, and you know, seeing your videos is kind of really cool. But no, I've not really had any other sort of messages like the one from yourself saying, you know,
well, you know, surely getting messages like that, you know, far outweighs any other guitar type, you know, messages. And that was actually going to be what I was going to move on to next was, you know, do you hope that you can be some sort of inspiration to people like the people that you've already heard from?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if one person saw my video and thought, I'm going to play the guitar now, and previous to that, they thought they couldn't play the guitar, you know, I'd be so happy, you know, because I understand that it's difficult. And, you know, for me obviously we all have our ups and downs about stuff. I'm not going to pretend that I've never gotten bummed out about like my disability ever in my life, because that'd just be, you know, telling a straight lie to you. But, you know, again, as you say, it's just dealing with what you got, and hopefully, you know, someone sees that and thinks, I can do this. Maybe I can do this. Like seeing someone else do it is all the motivation I need to give it a go myself. And it's difficult. I mean, learning guitar anyway is difficult, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
You know that. I mean, and yeah, for me it was. I definitely had a couple of extra challenges and stuff like that, but you know, at the same time, they were just my challenges that I had to go with. You know, at least I never have to learn how to sweep pick, or you know, how to tap properly. You know, all these things that all these problems that people have with two hands. You know, all these different techniques. I don't ever have to worry about them. So there's a good positive, really.
Let's talk about some guitars. So tell me about the Les Paul that you use in your videos.
Yeah, so that thing, yeah, I absolutely love that. So it's a 2005 Les Paul Standard. It's a limited edition one, so it's this big LE after its name in Pacific Foam or something like that.
It's a lovely color. I mean, and that was the thing. Obviously, when I first saw your videos, and obviously the first thing I saw was the guitar, you know. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's a great Les Paul! I don't think I've ever seen one like that." You know?
Yeah, no, it's lovely. Yeah, and yeah, no, Seafoam Green. I think that's the name. Sorry, not Pacific.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there were about 250 or 275 of them made.
Wow.
And yeah, just got really lucky. Like we were at a guitar show. You know, the guitar show that goes on in Birmingham, Music Live, I think it's called.
Yep.
You know, we were there. You know, years ago. And I was there to try and, you know, I was there to get an upgraded guitar and everything. I've been playing my first guitar for a long time. And I was getting to a point where I was, you know, quite good. And I was like, I want to get something that I'm never going to get rid of. And it's going to be there for my entire life. And, you know, you know, if it's expensive, you know, it was, you know, a present to me from my old man, I think, you know, for putting all this effort into everything. And yeah, so I originally went there with the thought of getting an SG. Because at that time, you know, I was still listening to so much AC/DC, and you know, just seeing Angus, you know, strut around the stage with that lovely, the hundreds of lovely SGs that he has, and also, you know, Tony Iommi's lovely SG, you know, that monkey SG that he's got.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even though obviously I wouldn't have looked at that because that's probably about 17 grand or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
But yeah, so I played the SG, and I was like, oh, this thing's, you know, fun and everything. But I was at the guitar show, and I was like, when am I ever going to see this many left-handed guitars again? And so I come back sort of next year. So I went around all the stages, and then that one caught my eye at the Gibson stand, and I was like, oh, let's, you know, give that one a go. And you know, the color of it was amazing. And yeah, when I played that, I was like, oh man, that SG sucks. You know, like I just played that, and I'm like, it just sounds so good. And I think because, I mean, it weighs a ton. I mean, you'll have handled enough Les Pauls in your day. Like, I mean, it's not one of these, you know, hollowed out ones that they do now, you know, the modern ones where
that's right. They make them lighter, don't they now?
Yeah. This one weighs a ton. And I absolutely love that because, you know, it really feels like you're playing the guitar. It feels like you're playing stuff. But the sustain on it is crazy as well, just because, you know, it weighs as much as I do. But yeah, I mean, that thing, as I say, it's never going. You know, that thing's with me till the day I die.
Have you made any changes to it at all, or is it all just stock?
No, not at all. Just
Great.
stock. I loved it, and I don't really know that much about guitar modding. And I was like, the last thing I need to do is mess this thing up. So
Yeah. Well, that's it. And that's the way to look at it. That if it doesn't feel like it needs anything changing, don't change anything. It's as simple as that. You know, don't force yourself into a position where you feel that you should try this. If it sounds good and it feels good, leave it as it is.
Yeah.
What was your first guitar, and do you still have it?
I do still have it, actually. My dad, because he knew we were having this chat, dug it out of my old loft and dropped it around to me the other day. So,
no way.
So I've got it right here, and it's one that you would expect a kid with about sort of 8 or 7 to want as like his dream first guitar. So I had this.
Oh, look at this
right here. So the pointy number. So I mean, you know this guitar because I know you've talked about Dimebag's version on your channel before.
Yeah. See, but I'm just thinking, even at that time, you did well to get a Lefty.
Yeah. So we searched the internet. And we actually, it doesn't exist anymore. I was looking for it today. It was a website called lefthandedguitars.co.uk, and that I spent every evening on that website just looking through the very small selection of things that they had, and you know, most of it was the very unobtainable, you know, the 3-4 grands, like, you know, the Fender Custom Shop, or like, you know, some Nuts Gibson, or you know, something along those lines, where I think we do get a fairly decent choice at the really, really high price range.
Yeah.
Most people, that's not really, really very good. And yeah, this thing was up there, and I don't think it was even £200. This Dean, because I mean, it's the basic, you know, the real basic.
Yeah, sure.
Which is exactly all you need as a first guitar. But you know, there were tons of stuff. I know there was the Squire Strats. There was, I think, like, you know, the Epiphone Les Pauls and stuff. But like, I saw that and I was like, I don't know, 7 or something. And you know, what else is your kid brain gonna do?
What about the ones that you got in the back corner there? What are they?
Yeah, so we've got 3 there. So we've got my Harley Benton. It's a HB 35. That's a hollow body. You'll have seen that in some of my other videos, like my Let It Be video, and my Oasis one as well. So that one, actually, my girlfriend bought me that one. So I did go through a bit of a stage sort of between, I don't know, 16 and probably, you know, 23, 25. I didn't really play the guitar at all. I'd gotten a bit caught up with being a teenager, and, you know, hanging out with your mates and being an idiot came first. And then when I did move away, sort of between ski resorts, it was quite hard to find sort of left-handed guitars and stuff, especially electric ones for cheap in these, you know, ski towns.
Of course.
I did get a really beat up left-handed acoustic when I was living in Queenstown. I think I got it for about $30-40. Nice. And you know, it works, but it wasn't that great. But and then when I was in Canada, it took me so long to find something. So but anyway, I've been talking to her. You know, I wish you could hear me play the guitar like I used to. You know, I used to be pretty good and everything like that. And I think she's just like, fed up of hearing you say it. Come on, do it. So she got me this hollow body, because I'd always banged on about how I wanted one of the big fat Gretsch hollow bodies. Yeah. You know? I like the orange one you've got yourself.
Thanks.
I mean, I love that thing. And I've, you know, they've always been like a bit of a dream guitar, and it's cool that they make them. It's cool they make them in sort of varying price ranges as well.
Yes.
Sort of the kind of, again, the sort of more unobtainable stuff. You know, it's really, you know, those $2-3 grand down to, you know, that sort of $800-900 as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I always wanted like a nice big hollow body, and you know, she saw that on, you know, the Tommen website, and she got it for me. And I was definitely skeptical, I think, at first, because, you know, I've been playing this Gibson Les Paul, which is, you know, fantastic, and there was this, you know, Harley Benton guitar, which, you know, they're a fairly cheap brand. They're like Tommen's own and everything. But I actually got it in my hands and I loved it. Like the playability is so good. It was a little rough around the edges with like sort of the scratch plate. Wasn't exactly polished down perfectly and stuff like that, but little things that you don't really care about from sort of cheaper guitar. But the sound that I was getting out of it was unbelievable. And you know, I was really shocked, and I play it so much. I play it as much as I play my Gibson, and that's it. And actually, my girlfriend's so on board with it. Like she's like, yeah, you know, get as many as you want, as long as it's not too many, kind of thing. You know, as long as we've got enough room for it. Where, you know, when we get our next house, I'll hopefully be able to get more in and stuff like that. You know,
well, you can't really go wrong. You know,
well, I mean, but that's it. I mean, she's super keen, and like she loves having them hanging on the wall as well, because
yeah,
always great. You know,
you know, I've done quite a few of these now, but this has been something quite different for me, you know, having you on here. And I just want to say, man, just keep on trucking and just keep on, you know, inspiring people out there. There'll be people that you're inspiring that you won't even realize, you know, that will come across your videos, and man, just keep on doing it, you know. And thanks so much, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been great to talk to you as well.
Likewise, mate. Thank you.
All right, take care and look after yourself.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.